Hi, this is Brad Monk. Welcome, my spiritual family. Right, we are going to look at the top 10 questions that I get asked about heaven. All right, let's dive straight in. So, the first one is: will we see our loved ones in heaven? Very good question. Very good question. I do know that through all my mediumship years and helping people with the spirit world, that often when it's your time to go and you've decided to go, three people come to visit you at the bottom of the bed. If I ever see three people at the bottom of the bed, I know then it could be in the next 3 hours, the next 3 months, that that person will be moving on. And so, yes, your loved ones do actually receive you and help you out and guide you how to use your energies on the other side, unless they have obviously been reborn. But still, the essence of them is still in heaven because they have the part of the soul and one thing another, so they can still meet you and they can still help you through that time. Okay, let's look at number 2. Will we meet our animals and pets in heaven? Well, I've done a lot of readings where pets have come through, and I mean, the weirdest thing ever is to actually hear a pet speak to you. It doesn't happen many times, but when it does, it's quite like, oh, okay, all right, no worries. So I know that pets are in heaven, and I know that often they are helping us just as much because they have a lot of love, and so it's easy for them to go to heaven because they are actually trying to help us all the time. And I actually know for certain that my cat that was given to me by my lovely sister was actually an angel because it helped me through a difficult part of my life. And that cat really made a difference. So I know how much animals mean to people. And I just like to say that they're definitely in heaven. And whether somebody else will look after them or whatever's going to happen, just know that when they go, they are still connected to you and still connected to the heaven. Okay, next one. What will we do in heaven? Right, I've had this question come to me a few times, and what they tell me is you reflect upon your life. You can go to school over there. You can learn spirituality. You can learn everything to do with energies and one thing another. Also, you whatever you think about happens. So, if you're, say, for example, wanting to have memories and stuff that you want to make happen again, you can actually play those memories out, or you can create scenarios around you to look like those to make you feel a little bit more happy and one another. So the over there, our thoughts really do create our existence, I suppose, but obviously they're not in the thoughts in the sense of our brain working. They're just energy. So that's why it's so important over here to really fulfill your life with magical things like plants and music and one thing another. Because over there, I am told that it sounds so much better and looks so much better, and you can actually create new energies and new things over there to pass down to the world. So really fascinating stuff when they actually talk to me and tell me such stuff. Okay, so let's moving on. Is heaven boring? Well, I suppose if you were very material here, and so your dream in life was just to have a pot of gold, and you can imagine a pot of gold. After a few days of imagining that pot of gold, it probably would be boring, Or if you're a golfer and you can imagine the perfect swing and holding one, and you can do that every day, then it would be boring. So it depends on yourself and what you find and what you've sort of like learned in this life, really, that you can take with you into the next. Okay, next question. Let's get down to this. Is there a heaven and hell? Now, this is a difficult one for me because the more that I do the mediumship, the more that I speak to, I've never had somebody come back from hell and speak to me. I have had people in limbo who are stuck reliving their last moments, and I suppose that's a type of hell sort of thing. Heaven to me is just another vibration. with a lot of channeling and a lot of people that I've spoken to and everything, they reckon that heaven's got 7 planes, and depending on how light your energy is, depends on how you go up the planes. But, you know, so to come back down to earth, you have to put some emotional self to come and connect. So sometimes until we've learned our emotional lesson, or we've learning or helping others down here, then we might stay connected to the earth, you know, or there is a trauma or an issue that's happened before our death, which means that we're still connected to the earth. So heaven is just another vibration, like going back to the 16th century. It's just another vibration, is all around us. Even though when I connect to heaven, I imagine energy going up to the sky. So that's because our condition in our life, that heaven is above us, sort of thing. So I'll have to probably look into more of that. Okay, next question. Right then. Do our loved ones watch over us all the time? Now, this is very interesting because our loved ones have got no time difference, supposedly. So they can come and see us whenever they want, but they also have their own jobs to do. They also have their own life to lead over there. So when we can call upon them, if they're not around, they could be doing something. So I've often find that they come at the right times. They get a bit of a glimpse into when they're needed, and so they can do other things. They have no time limits and everything, so they can do other things. So that's why if you've got messages, send them, because, you know, it's like writing a letter. It'll eventually get there when the right time and stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. And because often people say, oh, you know, do spirit world watch you in the shower? Oh, I'd probably be a big shock if they watched me in the shower, but I've never really felt spirit around. Why would they? Do you know what I mean? What can they get out of, besides probably laughing at you or whatever? But no, so they sort of have their own type of rules and regulations over there. I mean, back 20 years ago, you couldn't take a picture of a spirit without it diving out the way or whatever, because there was a ruling that they didn't want to show too much because it used to scare the people. More people are open to it now. More people are accepting of the paranormal and all this lot. So it tends to be a case that they show themselves with balls of light and orbs and tingles and more often. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, I teach them to recognize the symbols, because they bang and clang. They bring music to you and people to you. But you can actually learn to connect and know when they're around. You know, my grandmother will give me a shake when she wants to talk to me, so I know then that's her. You know, so that was my symbol, or my sort of way of knowing who's around, rather than having bangs at the door and one thing and another. Okay, next one. Let's say, do we become angels in heaven? Now, depending on how you went over, but I do know that those who sometimes go earlier, often is their last journey, and so they do become angels. But everybody's telling me that, you know, that angels, you know, humans can't be angels, but there is earth angels. You know, there is earth angels being sent back who had already completed their lives, but because of all the chaos in the world, they've been sent back to share their knowledge and help out. So I do know that a lot of the angels are being called upon at the moment, because there's a lot of suicides and deaths and one thing and another. A lot of prayers. So there's a lot of angels being used at the moment. So yes, there is angels in heaven, and often the case that they help out people on earth. So okay, next one. If a person was horrible, will they still be horrible when in heaven? Right. If when they go to heaven, or they're in limbo or whatever, they still are learning about what they did and one thing or another. I've been many a times when I've had to sort of what we call close the bridge and help people on this side to release emotions on very sort of not nice situations. And at first they might reject the father and mother and one thing and another, but eventually if you can build that bridge up and help them to release. What I always say to people is, people have free will and choice. So if they do something horrible to you, that's their karma, that's their understanding, that's their cause and effect. But you can forgive the actions so you can move on. You don't have to forgive the person. But if you can, then it really does free you up, because then you can see the bigger picture to why it's happened. But, you know, they still had a choice to do what they did. So it's not a case that you forgive them for what they did, but sometimes you have to forgive yourself, because in a lot of programmings and a lot of your part to play, then you actually do learn about this by experiencing it. And so sometimes a lot of people, what's the word? They're actually sabotaging their lives. They are actually giving a part to play in order to help a lot of people around them. And I can't quite think of the word at the moment, because I'm in spirit at the moment, so my mind's going. But if anybody can think of it and put it in the comments box, it's basically where you've given yourself, or you've sacrificed yourself to help the masses or help other people. So that is, you know, something to look at. Right then. So are they still horrible? I tend to find that the most I've spoke to start to learn about their lives, and they start to realize the only time when I've connected to a spirit who is still the same is when I went to paranormal, to a mental hospital. But that was because the person was still there. They hadn't properly moved on, and so they were still actually going through their last moments. So, you know, and I'm not saying that mental patients are horrible, and they weren't, but this one did like to scare people. Do you know what I mean? Which was funny at the time. But will we still have our disability when we go to heaven? Like I say, because of that mental hospital, and still the person being mental in spirit, then it depends. But she was reliving her last moments. I didn't think she realised that once she went over, she could, you know, you could think of whatever you want. So you don't have to be disabled, you know. And whatever you are on this planet, you are because you're vibrating a lesson or something to help the world out, you know. So I don't look at disability other than that in a strange sort of way. And I know I'm going to get the haters hate me on this one. It's a gift to the world. You know, that they're showing the world that even that they can use all the senses, that they still are humans, they're still wonderful people, they're still amazing people. And it just amazes me when I look at what people can achieve. I've got full limbs, full everything, and I can't achieve as much as some of those people. And so I think they're an inspiration to us all to get off our bums and go out there and make a better life. And so, you know, I've worked with adults, with learning, and it's amazing. I love all that, because when you can really tap into the core of them, then you can share in a wonderful experience. Okay. What is this talk of the new earth? My understanding through the channeling is the new earth is just basically the enlightenment that's been, or the awakening that is showing, and it's showing the world of heaven on earth. And so when we see the beauty in all, or we tap into the source within us, or the inner voice, or whatever way you want to do it, and tap into other energies that's part of the oneness, you see a whole different world. You act different. You want to share and help people rather than be selfish and self-centered and angry and hateful, because you no longer are tapping into those inner pain, really, that you're sharing with the world. Once you become the oneness, and I think that's why they're showing like a new earth now, is because the energies, the veil is not as thick and it's easier to communicate with spirit world and one thing another at the moment due to the respect of the energies changing. We're all being awakened, and more people are tapping in, more people are playing their part, more people are enjoying life, more people are being empaths. So there's a whole range of new energies that are coming, which is changing the earth, and even changing the animals around us, because we've got to start playing our part and sharing the oneness, which is the oneness is the cure. Okay, so there's the top questions that I've had to do with heaven, and I hope you enjoy, and look out for all the more stuff that'll be coming out. My next video I'll be doing on purpose, and so I'll be channeling loads more stuff. So don't forget to subscribe, click the button, and join me, because I've got a whole new venture coming forward. I'm a little bit sort of 50-50 on it at the moment, because it's going to be trying to bring the light to the dark world. So it's going to shine in areas that normally people don't talk about, to look at the big picture and to maybe look outside the box. Okay, thank you.